divine souls, or pleasant evening, depending on when and where you're watching this. My name is Ayaneli Elisai, creator of Divine Life Force, here to help you align. Now, do you struggle with the relationship with your thoughts or the relationship with others? If so, this is your sign to align. I am on a mission to help you cultivate a deeper connection with your mind, with your emotions, and with the people around you. So go ahead and hit that follow button, rate my podcast, and join me on this transformative journey to a fulfilling life full of love and purpose. Let's go! And yes, I'm on a yoga ball. Let's get started. The second principle I'm going to talk about is alignment. Kind of like I'm trying to align on this yoga ball right now, but seriously. And alignment is becoming aligned with your mind, your body, your spirit, in harmony with God, our higher consciousness, the universe, the divine life force, whatever you want to call it. You'll hear me call it God or divine life force. Now, we've been conditioned to think that our mind, our body, and our spirit are separate from each other. However, in truth, they are all one. I wanted to share this quote by Aldous Huxley. It is only by becoming godlike that we can know God. And to become godlike is to identify ourselves with the divine element, which in fact constitutes our essential nature, but of which in our mainly voluntary ignorance we choose to remain unaware. Now, this quote is very powerful because it talks about literally our essential nature is God. As I mentioned in our last podcast episode, that one was awareness, that if we were created by the divine, then we too are divine. God is not external from us. Well, let me rephrase that. God is not only external from us, God is also internal. And so once we can access that divine life force, we can really transform and connect with the universe. So for those of you that didn't know, we live in a universe that is all energy. Everything is in a vibrating state. It's vibrating at different frequencies. The law of thermodynamics states that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be stored or transferred. And we are literally energy particles, and we hold the power to vibrate in a state that we are aligned with and with our source. And so we hold the power to manipulate energy. The law of oneness states that everything in the universe is interconnected. There is no true separation between individuals, nature, energy, or the cosmos. This principle suggests that we are all part of the same unified consciousness, influencing and being influenced by everything around us. That is so powerful. Now, the purpose of creation is to traverse through endless unique experiences, stretching to the bounds of infinity. We are literally gods with a little g. In God, we are empowered, we are invincible, we are unbreakable. However, in ego, we make excuses, we stay in living in a limited mindset. We're not living our life to the fullest, but in awareness and alignment, we embrace contrast. We embrace our light and our dark. We start to look at our obstacles and our pain as life lessons. And so we grow. We learn to look at everything as an opportunity, as a training ground to continue pulling us forward to where we want to be. Now, ego does keep us in fear and separation. Ego excuses sound like it's too risky, I can't, I'm not strong enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm too big, I'm too skinny, it's too complicated, I'm too busy, I don't have time, I don't have money, no tengo dinero. If you think like this, it's okay. Awareness and alignment are the first and second step. So because if you are living like this now, think about it. Why continue living like this? It's literally miserable, right? The only logical alternative is to step into harmony, and here in harmony and alignment is where the possibilities are endless, right? Awareness is a representation of God, of our divine life force, and alignment, well, that's a verb. Alignment is action towards awareness. When these two principles are practiced together, our divine life force is accessed. We become co-creators with God. And so when I stepped into my awareness and alignment, the things that I wanted as a little girl all manifested too rapidly. It was amazing. My relationship with God became my favorite relationship, the one that I talk to the most out of everything and everyone in my life. So I was able to manifest moving to an island, South Padre Island, Texas. I've always wanted to live there since I was a little girl. And once I moved there, I always wanted to ride a boat and drive a boat. And I got to do both of those things. I met individuals that, again, it's a ripple effect. I was able to be guided by the divine and meet these individuals, and they took me on these boat trips, and it was such an amazing experience. I also went from 48K to 105K with multiple income sources once I stepped into my alignment and my awareness. And that was only the beginning, right? So, such a transformative journey when we let our divine life force guide us. Now, I do want to talk about expectations, right? In alignment, expectations are dangerous. We must be appreciative and live in a state of gratitude. But expectations, while creative, are not creative thinking that brings that kind of thinking doesn't bring value into our life. Instead, it robs us of our present moments. How? Well, think of this. If you've ever been mad at someone that they didn't treat you the way that you wanted them to treat you, even though you never told them, and somehow, again, you were mad, right? That's expectations. Or if you had a cruise planned and you were expecting mimosas and cocktails and having some pina coladas by the beach, and the weather said, not today. You're staying inside the cruise. You let that mood, that disappointment drag on throughout the entire trip, that you're really being robbed of the opportunities and the people that you could have connected with. You already have amazing activities going on inside the boat. You have food, comida, deliciosa. Food alone, oh, I don't know, man. Food is just, it's a drug for me. It's a drug for everyone. It's the dopamine that gets released, right? But it's just, we need to be more appreciative. It is when we are in a state of gratitude and appreciation and not in expectation that we are aligned. Misalignment, again, comes from expecting a certain situation or a certain someone to be a certain way. And when that doesn't play out, that affects your mood. Think of how ridiculous that sounds, right? That sounds very ridiculous when we really think about it. I do want to say that that's one of the very first things, right, about alignment. The next thing is, when you are aligned, you're never stuck in the past or the future. See, instead, you're rooted in the present. In addition, in alignment, you never come from a thinking mindset of, I am lacking, I am not good enough, I can't do this, I can't do that, right? Instead, when you're in alignment, that's misalignment. When you're in alignment, instead, you're, what value can I bring to the world? Whose life can I improve? What abundance can I share with everyone around me, right? Because you're in an abundance mindset. Another example would be, misalignment. You're living in fear and separation, or this is just my bad luck. This is luck. I have bad luck, or this is the way things have always been. Instead, in alignment, you create. I am the creator of my world. I create and get all of my desires. So that's what I wanted you to see as far as what's misalignment and alignment. See, when God opens the door, it's God's affection. But when God closes a door, it's God's protection. And that's also when we are in alignment, when we understand that very principle. For me, I always find parking in downtown Austin. Always. So for those of you that don't know, parking in downtown Austin is difficult. You normally have to pay for parking. Whenever I go, I always find parking, free parking, always. And the days that I don't, I say, hey, your will, your way, it's okay. I want to say 98% of the time, I always find parking. And that is because right when I get in my car, I start with, thank you for my parking spot. Thank you. And it's always right in front of the place that I was meant to be. My friends are always asking, well, where'd you park? I'm like, oh, I'm right here, And everyone's always just flabbergasted. like, what? I had to park a mile away. Like, they just can't believe that I always find parking. And that, again, is because the universe, we're all interconnected. Every emotion that we experience, it is a ripple effect into the quantum field. And so when we are vibrating at a high frequency, that energy is then returned to us. It aligns with everything else in the cosmos. Whereas if you're vibrating at a low frequency, you're going to continuously get that same energy back. It's like those people that say, well, I'm always broke. Well, I never have money. It's your language. Saying I never have money, I am always broke. I am alone is very powerful. Anytime you say I am, you are literally manifesting. For those of you that don't know, I'm speaking from experience. I am speaking from being there in that broke mentality. I came from federal subsidized housing, WIC, food stamps, Medicaid, government assistance, you name it, I had it. I was consistently thinking, why does everything happen to me? Why am I always broke? I know I don't have money for that. That's too expensive. Always, always, always. When I started to connect with God, I initially found God in 2009 through a manager who consistently and relentlessly invited me to church. And I'd be like, thanks, but no thanks. I'll pass. Until I started to think, I see her and she radiated joy and love. And yeah, I mean, she was the manager, so I'd see her get stressed, but she was just so sweet and she would bring out the best in me. I was a little toxic, a little lost. I didn't have the best upbringing. And every time I was around her, she just made me feel like I could be anything that I wanted. She gave me hope and faith, and I felt like I would radiate when I would talk to her. So I finally decided I'm gonna go to church. Listen to the story. I swear there's a point. I told her I don't have money to go to church because I didn't. I was living in housing. I would literally have anywhere from $5 to $20 after I paid all my bills, and that was it. And that was for anything that I might need that wasn't approved through SNAP food benefits or food stamps. And I had a son. My son was young, he was 1 year old. She told me, don't worry, God will provide. And I believed. I believed, and I kid you not, I started getting deposits. I had two bank accounts at the time. I had one attached to my direct deposit from that business, that job that I was working at, and I had another bank account. So what I'm trying to say is that there's no way that she would have known that secondary bank account is to justify what happened or who it was. But long story short, a person named John, out of all names, if you know John in the Bible, he's mentioned numerous times in the Bible. He's a prophet and he's one of the good guys. John, just John, there was never a last name, just John started depositing $80, $60, which back in 2009, $60 to $80, I made that stretch real good. It just started getting deposits like every other month. I was able to utilize that money to go to church because I was living, for those of you that know South Texas, I was living in Alamo, Texas, and the church was in McAllen. So it was a pretty good drive for me, about a 30-minute drive. 30-minute one way, 30-minute back, so a full hour. And that was very, very powerful when that happened. I just started to be more driven towards godly things. The point of this is that once you begin to have a relationship with God, you can really transform your life. And I know that maybe you're in a moment right now where you don't believe any of this is true. There's a reason that people talk about this. There's a reason that so many individuals, talk about their experiences because this is literally magic. This is majestic. I feel I have a magic wand with what I'm able to do, and I'm able to paint the world, and I'm able to radiate and glow, and things line up for me. And I really want to share this experience. I feel that God is calling me to share my relationship with God because it's unexplainable. And it's something that's so beautiful and profound that I want something in my heart and I get it. I can't explain it. So this is why, I mean, I can explain it as in it's through God, but it's just so powerful. Science can't explain it, but I'll say this, science cannot explain it, right? As far as, do we actually know what happens when we perish? Do we actually know? No, right? There's stories, there's case studies of people that have crossed over. There is the placebo effect, where the mind is so powerful that it can cure itself, but yet we discard everything else of being able to create our own reality. So I just want to leave you with that. And I do want to say we have another task for you. The task today will be for you to practice awareness, practice alignment. And the way that we're going to do this is, if in the last past podcast you were observing your thoughts, questioning your thoughts, and then reinforcing them with a positive one, we're going to add that extra step. So with alignment, I want you to do a chant. This is my chant. I am the divine life force. I am the divine life force. Anytime that I feel a moment of low energy, I'll do that chant. It really helps me step back into my power. Or meditation. I want you to meditate for something just as small as 2 to 3 minutes. Just really take the time to close your eyes and connect with God. Let there be peace and gratitude. That's another way to align. Or if you want to try the last option that I have here for you, is just wake up, moving forward, and say 3 things you're grateful for. If you forget in the morning, make sure you get it at night, but get it every single day, whatever aligns with you. 3 things that you're grateful for. And it can be something from, I'm so grateful for my hair, my skin, my emotional intelligence, my heart, down to the simplest things. I'm grateful for you on this podcast, and I'm grateful for the space that I've created and that we've created, Divine Life Force. With that being said, if any of this resonates with you, go ahead and hit the follow button at Ianelli_divine. With that being said, remember, you are an extraordinary being doing extraordinary things through the extraordinary force. Ciao, Divine Soul.